What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. And with the fallout of the Elimination Chamber this past Saturday, there are so many questions left unanswered, including the question of what's next for Sami Zayn after what happened at Elimination Chamber. Where does Jey Uso's allegiance lie? And also, are we going to see Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt? All these questions and more will be answered in today's video, because in this week's episode of WWE's Biggest Issue, I am going to give you guys a full in-depth review of the Elimination Chamber from this past Saturday, which took place at the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec. And I'm gonna be honest, this was probably one of the most interesting cards we had in quite some time. This is, I believe, the second time in quite a while that we've had where the main roster premium live events, or actually the third time, where the premium live events have had exactly 5 matches on the card, which didn't make sense to me at first. But once we found out how long the both men's and women's chamber matches lasted, it made a little bit of sense. But with that being said, hopefully you guys are ready for this episode. By the way, shoutouts to Sunkiss for the new berry lemonade soda. Not sponsored. This is actually pretty good. Anyway, with that being said, someone's calling me. No one cares. Anyway, we kick things off with the women's Elimination Chamber match, where the winner would face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania, and the combatants were Raquel Rodriguez, Nikki Cross, Liv Morgan, Asuka, Natalya, and Carmella. Asuka, Nikki Cross, and Raquel Rodriguez were inside the Plexan Chamber pods, while Natalya and Liv Morgan actually started the match. And I believe Raquel Rodriguez. It went to Raquel Rodriguez, Nikki Cross, Carmella, and Asuka was the order of the chamber entries, I believe. So there were no eliminations, throughout most of the match, but the first person to get eliminated was Nikki Cross by, I believe, Raquel Rodriguez. Then both Asuka and Natalya made Liv Morgan not tap out but pass out to not only the Asuka lock but also the infamous sharp shooter, and it was pretty insane. Then Carmella actually pinned Natalya, which now everybody in Montreal was asking who should they now root for. Asuka was the next best option. Then both Carmella and Asuka decided to team up on Raquel Rodriguez, and both pinned Rodriguez after a flurry of kicks to the face of Raquel. And then it came down to both Asuka and Carmella. And unfortunately for Carmella, she tapped out to the new and improved Asuka lock to get eliminated, and thus Asuka is your winner and will advance to WrestleMania to face Bianca Belair. This is interesting though, because when you think about Asuka and Bianca, they competed together inside of War Games last November, and now the question becomes, do they still see each other as friends, or what's the deal? I guess we will find out tonight on Raw, but only time will tell. But if I'm going to be honest, this was a bit of a strange one. I feel like I personally feel like as if instead of someone like Carmella, I feel like as if someone like potentially I don't know, someone like maybe Candice LeRae, or maybe someone like Michin, Mia Yim should have been put in this match, because for someone like me, for someone like Mia Yim, ooh, excuse me, you know, she could have thrived so well on the chaos that is the Elimination Chamber. But Asuka, but I guess it really wouldn't matter. Asuka still would have won either way. But the question is, could this match have ended differently? This is Asuka we're talking about here. So aside from potentially having Natalya win, there's no way that any of the other women were gonna win. So this one, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. This was actually a pretty good matchup, but there was no shot. Everyone knew, the whole world knew that Asuka was gonna be the odds-on favorite. I think the dark horse definitely had to have been Carmella, just because of the fact that she had been SmackDown Women's Champion. She's been WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. She's won Money in the Bank, but she's never won the Raw Women's title. And could she have been champ? Could she be a Raw Women's Champion? Absolutely, but not this time. Not this time. It'll take a miracle for her to become not SmackDown, Raw Women's Champion. But we now move on into the rubber match between the Almighty and the Beast. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the match went great for the most part. That was until the closing moments of the match. There was German suplex after German suplex, spear after spear, F5 after F5, hurt lock after hurt lock. It was pure fucking chaos. Pure chaos. In the closing moments of the match, unfortunately, Bobby Lashley applied the hurt lock onto Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar, as a babyface, you would think he would have tried to break out of the hurt lock, but he decided to go back to his heel ways and hit Bobby Lashley with a low blow, forcing a disqualification. And not only did Brock Lesnar send Bobby Lashley through the announce table with the F5, he also attacked as well the referee that was officiating the match, not only hitting him with an F5 in the ring, but also hitting him with an F5 onto the broken announce table. And funny enough, you think he would have been fined or suspended? No, unfortunately not. The reports actually stated that he will not be suspended, nor will he be fined for his actions. And I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of bullshit if you ask me. You know, don't get me wrong. He's had a tendency to get suspended quite a bit. But this one, I feel like should have been no different. Don't get me wrong. I've got nothing but respect for both Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. I'm a big fan of both. But given how it all ended and what exactly went down, I'm only gonna give this one 2 stars, just because of the fact that Brock Lesnar knew that he was gonna lose the rubber match, and if you guys remember on SmackDown this past Friday, Bray Wyatt said that he wanted to face either Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley. Sorry guys, my desk moved. Guys, again, I apologize. My desk moved again. I don't know what happened. Anyway, Bray Wyatt said that he wanted to face either Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley after the Elimination Chamber. And now that we know that Bobby Lashley had beaten Brock Lesnar via a DQ, the question now becomes: are we going to see Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley? And honestly, I think it's very possible we could get Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt, because this would be Bray's first WrestleMania in 2 years. 2 years. We had not seen him in a long time, and it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to say the very least. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. But again, this match, 2 stars easy. This should have had a different outcome. Aside, other than what happened, but it is what it is. But we now move on to the mixed tag team match between the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley taking on the great couple, the Hall of Fame couple of Edge and Beth Phoenix. We hadn't seen Beth Phoenix compete in a match in WWE in literally 13 months. Excuse me. The last match she actually teamed up with Edge to take on The Miz and Maurice, actually, funny enough. So this was a bit of an interesting one. We knew that with Dominic Mysterio going to be at ringside with the Judgment Day, we knew that the hostile crowd of Montreal were going to just completely degrade the living shit out of Dom, and they just kept chanting, "Fuck you, Dominic! Fuck you, Dominic!" Like throughout most of the match. And there was even a time where Dom, no respect for women, mind you, no respect for women, decided to hang Beth Phoenix from the top rope, literally just like low blow, I guess you could say. And Edge chased Dom out of the arena, and he instantly just went backstage, and the fans were chanting, "Na na na na, na 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 na, hey, goodbye." And they were just like loving it. They were like loving it, but right when Dom showed up, boo! Nothing but boos all over the building. And you would think that there we go. Finally it went down. Sorry guys, I got something caught in my throat. Anyway, yeah, it was interesting too, and there was even a moment where both Beth and Rhea were literally clotheslining each other, just as sort of like a test of strength, and then they actually did a Greco-Roman test of strength as well, and there was even also a moment in the match where Rhea Ripley powerbombed Edge, Beth Phoenix powerbombed Finn Balor, and this was probably one of the best matches I had seen on this card thus far. But the closing moments of the match, Beth Phoenix hit Rhea Ripley with a glam slam onto the concrete floor, which allowed both Edge and Beth Phoenix to hit a Shatter Machine, which is a move that we hadn't seen in quite some time, and it was perfectly executed by the Grit couple because they had not practiced it at all. And a 1, 2, 3, and that was it. That was it. Finally, Edge got his Judgment Day on the Judgment Day, but the question does become: could this match have had a different outcome? Yes, it could have had a different outcome if Damian Priest showed up. If he showed up, Edge and Beth Phoenix would have lost easily. But with poor little Dom, such a fucking prima donna, not even the numbers game with him was enough to stop the Grit couple from defeating the Judgment Day. This one was actually pretty interesting because now that the Judgment Day is in the back of Edge and Beth's mind, we found out on the Elimination Chamber press conference that Edge will be challenging for the United States title tonight on Raw when it emanates from Ottawa, Ontario, which is literally not that far from where Edge lived in Toronto, actually. So the question becomes, who is the United States champion? Well, as far as the mixed tag team match goes, 3.5 stars easily. But again, going back with the U.S. title, who is the champion? Who is the United States champion? Well, we're about to find out right now, because we now move on to the men's Elimination Chamber, which featured Austin Theory, the champion, Seth freaking Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and of all people, Montez Ford. And we knew that Montez Ford had a lot of potential as a singles competitor, because if you guys remember, what was it, over a year ago? Literally over a year, maybe 2 years ago, we saw Roman Reigns actually do battle with Montez Ford, and Tez had a crazy showing against Roman. So the question does become, who wins? Who wins? Well, it came down to Seth Rollins and Johnny Gargano starting the match. The other four were in the pods. It first started out with the champion Austin Theory getting added into the mix. Then Damian Priest showed up. Then Bronson Reed, and then Montez Ford. I believe that was the order of entry. I believe. No eliminations for like 20 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes of the match, but it took literally not one, not two, but 3 men, Rollins, Gargano, and Ford, to hit Bronson Reed with a flurry of super kicks and a frog splash to eliminate Bronson Reed. Then it came down. Then I believe Damian Priest eliminated Johnny Gargano. Rollins, I believe, eliminated Damian Priest. Then it came down to the final 3: Rollins, Theory, and Ford. And the closing moments of the match, it was basically the closing moments. Montez Ford got hit with a stomp onto the outside of the chamber, the floor of the chamber, if you will, knocked him out cold, and he got eliminated, and he was knocked out cold. Just knocked out, like he wasn't even moving. It was as if he was basically, it was as if he was unconscious, and knowing Rollins, he felt bad. He felt bad that he did that to Ford, but even Ford knew, Montez knew, that it was every man for himself. He knew that, and he knew that when he first qualified for the men's Elimination Chamber. And it came down to the final two. How ironic, right? How ironic. It came down to the champion and Seth freaking Rollins. And this was interesting because the closing moments of the match, right when Rollins was about to hit Theory with a stomp to pick up the victory and become a 3-time champion, out comes, of all people, Logan Paul, making his return to WWE since getting eliminated by Cody Rhodes in the Royal Rumble, to attack Seth Rollins, not only hitting him with, what was it that, what was it called, the Buckeye shot? Something like that, some sort of like weird like clothesline. If you guys do know, let me know in the comments. I don't know what it's called, but basically a clothesline, and then decided to add insult to injury and hit Rollins with his own stomp. And then Austin Theory hit A-Town down onto Rollins. Theory is still champion. Aside from what happened with Paul and Rollins, this was probably by far one of the greatest Elimination Chamber matches I had seen in a long time. So I'm definitely giving this one 4 stars. This was absolutely incredible. But we now move on into the main event for the undisputed Universal Championship between the champion Roman Reigns and Montreal's son, none other than Sami Zayn. And my brother just texted me, guys. Hang on. Give me a second, guys. There we go. Anyway, this was an interesting one because you guys know how this whole thing started, how this rivalry started. It started literally last April, right around, literally right after WrestleMania last year, where Sami Zayn said, hey, I acknowledge you. And not long after that, he started to slowly help the bloodline a little bit, and he became an honorary Uso. Not only did he help the Usos retain their tag team titles, he's helped Roman Reigns so much. He took bullets for practically every single member of the bloodline, and we knew, and for a slight second, and I'm gonna be honest here, okay? I'm gonna be honest. I had a sneaky suspicion that this was a way for Sami Zayn to turn babyface after all these years, because the heel character, his heel persona wasn't really working out anymore. So I figured, so I guess they must have figured, all right, you know what? We'll have Sami join the bloodline and turn him babyface. Which, to be fair, this whole heel thing kind of started back in 2017, where Kevin Owens pinned Shane McMahon inside Hell in a Cell, where it was false count anywhere, and that was where the heel Sami Zayn started to come in. And up until this point, he was mostly a heel. Sami Zayn was mostly a heel, and I find it interesting because you look at Sami Zayn, right, and you think of him as just as this like mid-carder, you know, and whatnot, but because of Roman Reigns, he's been in main event matches on numerous occasions. And what I find even more interesting is the fact that the first like 5, maybe 6 minutes of the match, when the bell rang, they both Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn just stood there, stood in the ring. They were just soaking in the energy the passion from the fans in Montreal, and and after that they went at it. And this was back and forth. Roman thought that it was going to be an easy victory. Nah. There's a reason why Sami Zayn was known as the underdog from the underground in NXT. There was a reason for it, because he showed more heart and more passion than almost any person that Roman Reigns had faced since becoming champion 3 years ago. And people seem to forget that he defeated one of his good friends to become NXT champion. And not only that, he's also a 3-time Intercontinental champion as well. So he's had quite a bit of success in WWE. But this is Roman Reigns we're talking about here. So we knew that he had a trick up his sleeve, and we thought that he was gonna have Solo Sikoa show up. Nope. He had Jimmy Uso come up. Even though there was a bunch of legal issues that took place in Montreal, they both decided to show up. But the thing is that when you look at Sami Zayn, he showed a lot of passion. He poured his heart out into that match, and it did not matter what he did. He literally threw everything he had in his arsenal at Roman Reigns. Blue Thunder Bomb, Haluva Kick, a fucking Michinoku driver. He had everything at his disposal, threw it at Roman, and he still kicked out. And just when you thought Sami Zayn was gonna win, out comes Jimmy Uso to help Roman Reigns, and it was nasty. Sami Zayn then thwarted Jimmy Uso, but then comes Jey Uso, which ties into the question, where does his allegiance lie? The way I see it, even you guys know what Sami Zayn did to Jey was incidental contact. That spear was not meant for Jey. It was meant for Roman Reigns. But knowing Jey Uso, he may end up rejoining the bloodline, which would not bode well for Cody Rhodes. But, yeah, it didn't work out so well because a spear... And not only that, two referees were down, but the initial referee came in after Roman hit Sami with the spear to pick up the victory and retain the title, but then a full-blown assault on Sami Zayn took place, and then we saw the return of Kevin Owens, not only attacking Jimmy Uso, but he hit Roman Reigns with a stunner, and Paul Heyman, being the dumbass that he is, decided to literally just attack Sami Zayn like he was a little girl, like that. And I'm like staring at him like, really, you're gonna pull that shit? Kevin Owens was not having it. He just walked up towards him like, nope. Heyman was like, nope, I think I'll back out. And Roman Reigns was in one corner, Sami was in another, Kevin Owens was in the middle, and he turned around, looked at Sami, and realized Sami Zayn had this match, backed up, and a haluva kick for Roman's trouble. And thus, now we know the main event. It'll be Roman Reigns versus the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes for the undisputed Universal title. Now think about this, guys. Think about this. So on WWE BT Sport, their official Instagram page, they posted a photo of Roman Reigns holding up both titles, and it shows a list of everybody that he beat and exactly where it took place. Which obviously started with which apparently both Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman aren't on here, but it started at Payback. Then it went to Jey Uso at Clash of Champions, Braun Strowman on SmackDown, Jey Uso inside Hell in a Cell, which is where all of this began. Kevin Owens not only at TLC, but on SmackDown and at the Royal Rumble. Daniel Bryan at both and not only Elimination Chamber, but Fastlane and WrestleMania, and even also on SmackDown as well, which was the last time we saw Daniel. Then Cesaro at Backlash, Rey Mysterio on SmackDown, Edge at WrestleMania and at Money in the Bank, John Cena at SummerSlam, Finn Balor both on SmackDown and at Extreme Rules as the Demon, at Extreme Rules of course, Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel, Sami Zayn on SmackDown, which I believe was right around the end of the year, actually. Right around the end of 2021, funny enough. Then, of course, Seth freaking Rollins. Actually, he lost via a disqualification at the Royal Rumble, but still. Goldberg at Elimination Chamber, Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania last year, Matt Riddle on SmackDown, Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam last year, Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle, Logan Paul at Crown Jewel, Kevin Owens last month, and this past Saturday, Sami Zayn. So now the question becomes, what happens next? What will happen next? Only time will tell. We don't really know exactly. We don't know if Sami Zayn is going to pull a Daniel Bryan and we get a triple threat match to where Cody Rhodes turns heel. We don't know exactly, but we will find out in the coming weeks. But that brings me to the question of the day. Oh, before I forget. Out of 5 stars with this main event, you know me. It's an easy 5 stars. That match could have had a different outcome. Absolutely. Sami Zayn picking up the victory had it not been for Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso getting involved as well. But that brings me to the question of the day, which is this. Which match do you believe was match of the night? Let me know down in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, which gets posted every Monday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all of my social media. Links will be in the description, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.